Hello, Taurus. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, Taurus, so looking at your second week of November, you have nightmare ancestors and gilded regret. The first thing I got was ancestral protection. Some of you may be coming out of a nightmare situation, but this card very specifically talks about the protection that is now happening for you. And that may be through ancestral wisdom. So knowing yourself through those who came before you and understanding your own patterns through the ancestral line. Very much a needing to stop any ancestral trauma that may be being passed down. And this may be some protection that is happening for you from that. But gilded regret. So this is like wanting to live in the best of the memories of the past, but understanding that those things are over. So the quote for this says, memories are like floating underwater, safe, warm, and murky, yet they hold the scent of death. So needing to get away from memories of how good things used to be. And I think that's because a lot of you have been in a difficult situation where there is a need for protection, but it's coming through the knowledge of those who came before you, knowing yourself through your ancestors, being able to see the patterns from, your parents, your grandparents, other family members, and seeing how that own pattern is like continuing in your own life. And you may have been dealing with that for some time, but there's this protection that's coming through now because of it being an ancestral trauma is what it feels like. But there's the important message too with the shadow that, you have to be careful about staying in the memories of what was and no longer continuing to live your life because things are not as good as they used to be. That's kind of how gilded regret feels like. Okay, Taurus, your overall here is the Seven of Pentacles. So re-evaluating a situation and looking at how, if you had done things differently, what kind of growth you would have seen, but re-evaluating what's going on right now. And very specifically with your outer world because of the Pentacles, right? So looking at what your effort has gotten you through a situation. In the past, the King of Cups, so we could be talking about a person here and maybe re-evaluating some emotions. But for you, this would be coming from a place of emotional maturity with the King of Cups. But I think for some of you, this may have been an emotional, supportive person. And you may be looking at things differently here with the Seven of Cups. Or I'm sorry, the Seven of Pentacles. So in the present, the Nine of Wands, that's interesting to me because if you're coming in with emotional maturity when it comes to somebody in your life, and how emotionally supportive you may have been for them or them you. This is being very careful about what you're choosing to let in now. We're on guard here with the Nine of Wands. It's the wounded warrior, having been put through a lot and being very protective of what comes into your inner world, especially when it comes to your emotions, right? But I think that this is about protecting yourself emotionally, possibly from a person, and something may have been happening here where you're kind of re-evaluating how things are going. And that can be for some of you. For others of you, it's just, I've been through a lot that put me in a place where now I've gained this emotional maturity and I'm very aware or discerning of who and what I get involved with. Future conditions, the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, so now I think for you, it's not so much about, because right now in your present moment with the Nine of Wands, this is you. You may be reevaluating a situation, but you're not doing it from a place of an open heart. Where you may have been that way before, whatever is going on right now, I don't think you want a part of it. And this may be because your emotions were rejected. But the Five of Pentacles in future conditions is this feeling of being cast out, rejection. It's, financial struggles. But I don't know, because you're the Nine of Wands, I feel like this is you rejecting something because of the emotional maturity that you're bringing in. But we'll see here, because this could be, an eye-opener. Instead of constantly being on the defensive, you may move into a place where it's like, okay, I see what I'm losing now, but this is what I gave to this, and I should have gotten different results. Like, I almost feel like if this has to do with a person, they should have treated me better. Your best path to follow, the Eight of Wands. So if situations are moving quickly, be aware of what direction they're going in. And that's going to be based on the reevaluation that you're doing with the Seven of Pentacles. But the other part of this is, I think that you have to be willing to take quick action in order to get things back on target for you, where you're no longer in these places of feeling like you're not getting what you need. That's what I'm getting from the Five of Pentacles here. And I say that because of this, emotion that's coming through with this King of Cups from the past. If you have been supportive, I think that something has happened now where, again, you're on the defensive, but you're not getting that in return. And it's interesting because you're looking at it as a loss with the Five of Pentacles. But being able to act quickly, I think, is what's going to be important here. But again, making sure that the trajectory, if I could talk right, is going the way that you want it to. In your environment, the Empress, damn, man. Okay, and this is what I was talking about. I think that because of you seeing how you are not getting your needs met, I think you're being very careful right now about allowing anybody to come in and try to, I don't want to say like take your abundance, but like wallow in it. Like, you can't have what I have. I could nurture, and I could be giving, and I could help with feelings of abundance, but you're like, it's about me right now. It is about me and protecting me and my needs. And it's like a wisdom has been gained emotionally about, again, something that you gave to but didn't get shit out of. Your needs were not met. And the thing is you didn't have any needs here other than emotional support. It's not like you're looking for a handout, but I feel like this is what somebody has done to you. Because I'm looking at the Empress as you in your environment, right? Venus. The ability to nurture and grow something is something you're not willing to give out anymore. And I don't think that you're suffering a loss because of it. You've been put through some stuff, and you're reevaluating who you are allowing into your space. It's like, I'm not going to let anybody come in and take advantage of what I have, what I've earned. And there's also the feeling of I could have given you what you wanted. Like, I could have given you back equally in return. But I feel like what you were lacking here was some kind of like emotional support. Wow, man. Your hopes and your fears, the Chariot. And with the Eight of Wands, to me, this is like quickly wanting to get back in control of where you are going. And no longer allowing somebody to pull you off track. This is the opposing forces going in the right direction, but it's through your self-control and willpower. And you're hoping to make a really big move here. For some of you, you're hoping to move out, move somewhere else. But the hope there would be, again, that, you know, your self-control, especially emotionally, is what's going to help you get away from people in situations where you're not getting what you need. You're not getting what you need. I keep feeling that. I'm not getting what I need. And it's interesting looking back at your oracle cards, because it's almost like if you're dealing with this, this may be a pattern that's been going on, and it's time now for you to get out of this nightmare. It's almost like your ancestors are going, don't do this. We've already been here, right? That you are so worthy of so much more. Like, it's already been played out. Don't continue it, right? Just become aware of it and start to change it. And, you know, really pulling on that inner willpower to act, to move, to gain victory over it, right? Wow, man. And then coming out the Queen of Swords. Man, you guys are blowing me away this week. The Queen of Swords coming out, this is what I'm talking about. And with the Nine of Wands and the Empress, I could have given you everything. I could have given you the world. But you didn't give that to me in return. Right? And it's not even about things being equal. It's about your giving, nurturing nature. And being very protective of it because of emotional immaturity that was gained through a situation. But I love the reevaluation that's going on. And some of you may be reevaluating what is going on with you financially in order to move. But when the opportunity arises, there's quick action that's going to be needed here. But if you're talking about somebody that has been pulling you in all kinds of different directions, you coming out as the Queen of Swords is like, no. No, sorry. Like, I'm not. You had a chance to experience my ability to nurture and be supportive. I can't do that now because I have nothing to give. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The Nine of Swords. Okay. And again, this is what I'm talking about. The action that's needed and a decision to take that action. And then the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. The Nine of Swords with the King of Cups. If somebody has had you constantly thinking about how bad a situation has been, thinking badly about yourself, these are all of the negative thoughts that are plaguing you. But I think that some of you have gotten some clarity over where all of these thoughts are coming from. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's coming from another person where there was a lack of emotional support. Emotional maturity has been gained through that. But this could also be somebody who mentally does not know how to deal with emotions, like emotional pain and struggles. But it's causing pain for you as well. You know, especially with the Queen of Swords, it's like, no, I've had enough of this. And then there's a decision to make action here where you're blocking out anybody from taking advantage of your nurturing, giving side. And with the Nine of Pentacles, removing yourself from the situation. Now, you may be looking at a loss financially if you're choosing to leave a situation. But what's important here is what is going to make you feel emotionally secure and abundant. Those are the two most important things that I think are coming out of this. And it may require you to be extremely harsh. But the Nine of Pentacles, it's independence and being able to enjoy what you have. And there is this financial security that's coming through here. So some of you may be leaving a situation where you just didn't have that. And this security is coming in through the decision that you make to act. But it starts with you reevaluating what you have been giving versus what you've been getting. But this is very specific. It's not just a Six of Pentacles type of thing where you're trying to balance out a situation. You know, this is really understanding your true depth of nature and how giving and open you may have been. And not getting anything out of it. I'm not getting my needs met. But I feel like the way that you're coming out on this is necessary. It's almost like you have to be very much careful about how your emotions are being affected by someone or a situation. And it requires you to be very harsh and very direct now. Because how can you be emotionally supportive for someone if you're not getting anything from it? Intuition. But I get this feeling of I would have given you anything. New path emerging, and that may be where the Chariot is coming through, and this decision to act and needing to do so quickly, and that may be what's happening. If the focus is there while you're protecting your loving nature, your mothering nature, it's like, no, it's no longer being appreciated. I'm not really getting anything out of this, and I've kind of been left in the background. This whole situation, I think, is going to require you to quickly make a decision here and shut somebody out. It's like, I have to shut it out now. Like, you can't play with me anymore. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I've been thinking about this. You have to remember the Queen of Swords, the reason why she's looked at as the divorced single woman is because her partner was not emotionally supportive. And that's not happening anymore. Wow, man. Okay, so intuition and new path emerging. The only way that a new path is going to emerge is if you trust your intuition, especially if it's telling you it's time to make a choice and it's time to act in order to change the situation. And again, I feel like this is important for those of you who are dealing with ancestral trauma or patterns, or even like, you know, the ancestral curse. I have my own. I see it all the time within my family line. This may be really important for some of you right now to kind of look back at your parents, your grandparents, the patterns that they've been repeating, because it's time for you to break that now. You're going to have to be the one to do that. New growth, that's absolutely what you want to see with the Nine of Pentacles, right? A new growth in a way where you're able to enjoy what you have and have this security where you were not being given that, but it requires you to be harsh. What do you need to release? The end of a tough cycle approaches. Perfect. Perfect. So looking at absolutely what you need to release, that's been making you feel this strong need to protect your own deep inner nature. Because too much has been taken from you is what I feel like. But the end of the cycle, that's exactly what we're talking about here. But I would also be careful, and I say this because of gilded regret, for those of you who are constantly looking back at these really good memories, understand that that is the past, and it may be something that just needs to be over with now, right? Like the scent of death, that part of that quote sticks out to me. It's like, you're gonna miss out, you know, if you continue to constantly be in this place of protecting yourself.